The students in Carol Hart's third grade class from Braddock Drive Elementary School took home 2 Vic Awards. The first is all about timing.
Hello, welcome to our video about timing. It's important to know about because everyone and everything exists in time. From people on Earth to stars, trillions of light years away. Time is relative, so it may seem to pass slowly or really fast, depending on your perception. Sometimes it's hard to hit the nail on the head, but as the watchmaker said to the comedian, it's all about the timing!
Each year, Miss Hart's class does a musical. This year's production is about why we have day and night. Next, we trek across Los Angeles to 93rd Street Elementary School, where students accepted the challenge to perform Shakespeare. The Bard would be impressed.
We got the idea of the Shakespeare classroom from the Old Vic Theater run by the Kevin Spacey Foundation. They gave us a little funds and off we went. Ninety-third Street Elementary School is a school with a great deal of love and a great deal of aspiration. The kids have a lot of challenges. We were 100% kids of color and 100% below the poverty line. But we're 100% committed to educating these kids any way we can. The students researched the quotations that they thought were most valuable, and they performed some of those.
Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. If the music be the food of love, play on.
To thine own self be true.
Better 3 hours early than 1 minute late. What's done can be undone.
And we ended with the speech of all the world's the stage.
All the world the stage, and all the men and women are merely players.
How do you get students motivated to perform Shakespeare? Let's find out from the lady who made the whole thing happen, Dr. Melanie Andrews.
Dr. Andrews, congratulations on your Vic Awards, and thank you for joining us today.
I am so excited. Congratulations, 93rd Street School. We won.
In your video, you mentioned that it's not typical for 10-year-olds to study Shakespeare. So how did that come about at 93rd Street?
Well, it was a weird little journey because I did this little workshop on projection, and I used the Shakespeare monologue. All the world's a stage and all the men and women, blah, blah, blah. And so the kids said, well, we don't understand that. So I started breaking down the words, and I thought to myself, we had just finished high school. Why not try this with little kids? And if we fail, we fail. But at least they'll have the experience. But we didn't fail. So what I do that's unique, instead of, we don't have the money or the time to go through all the Shakespeare, so we start with the prologues, which are just about a page long and tell the whole plot. And then the next thing we do is the words. And we were working on it, and kids were learning parts and we're talking about the words. And when they figured out that William Shakespeare and Snoop Dogg had something in common, because I said William Shakespeare created metaphors, and I said, who do you know that creates metaphor? What's a metaphor? They said, somebody said, like, when Snoop Dogg said somebody was to the curb, that's a metaphor. I said, yes. And I thought, what the heck? And the teacher, Mrs. Johnson, who was my teaching partner, said, but I need to do a science project. And I said, why don't we figure out how we can do them both? And that's just how it started. Just that crazy and simple. I went to my board and asked for some money. They said, we don't have money for this. We talked to people. We ran into Kevin Spacey at some event and told him what we're doing. He says, hey, write me a letter, call my people. And luckily they sent us a couple $1,000. And that's $1 million in elementary money.
Wow, that's excellent. At what point and why did you decide to chronicle the event?
3 reasons, and I've thought of this answer. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video is worth 1,000,000. First of all, we realized, the teachers and I, that this was pretty remarkable and that nobody else was doing it, and we wanted to keep a record of it. Second, once the kids made their costumes and parents helped, and we borrowed costumes from any school that was doing Shakespeare, all the way up to Fresno, to get so that every kid had a costume that was as close to authentic as possible. And the kids were saying, I want my mom to see it, I want my grandma to see it. And I said, why don't we put it on YouTube? And then the last thing was, this is something that teachers can replicate. And it took 10 minutes for them. I did it for a PD for like 300 teachers the other day. It took 10 minutes for them to get the idea, just by looking at the video. It would have taken hours, and it would have been, they can't do it, how do you expect? But we showed them it could be done. So video was incredibly valuable. And I'll present this in London. I mean, that's crazy and wonderful.
So congratulations again to you and the students at 93rd.
Thank you so much.
Using Your Wits is the language arts theme tackled by Mr. Greg Lepettis' class from Carpenter Community Charter School. Solid acting and writing underscore the excellence in this classroom video examining the life of Italian navigator and explorer John Cabot.
Here is your patent. Thank you, Your Majesty. I will honor you and bring you great treasures from Asia. Farewell.
We crossed the Atlantic Ocean to get to St. John's, Newfoundland.
The journey was about 53 days total, which was rough. The ship did experience rough weather and icebergs.
But John didn't turn back like he did on his first voyage in 1495.
On June 24th, 1497, I claimed this land for King Henry VII of England.
When John returned home, the king was so proud, he granted him a 20-pound pension for the rest of his life.
Almost everyone knows the theme from Star Wars, but how much do you know about its composer, John Williams?
John Towner Williams was born on February 8, 1932 in Queens, New York. He then became a composer of film scores and television theme music, a conductor, and then a music director of the Boston Pops Orchestra.
In the thriller Jaws, the main shark theme, a simple alternating pattern of 2 notes, became a classic piece of suspense music. Synonymous with approaching danger, Williams described the theme as grinding away at you, just as a shark would.
How would you define honor? That's another theme explored by a Carpenter Community Charter School student.
On Memorial Day, we honor everyone who defended our great country. They gave us everything they could, even their lives, to fight for all of us and our freedom.
Memorial Day, I think we're honoring those that honor our country.
I think of all these guys that serve this nation, and there's a saying that they make a check payable to the United States for up and to including their life. So for all the guys that died for freedom's sake, so we can enjoy this beautiful country, I honor them.
Honor means fighting for the right thing to do. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, it's about sticking what's the truth at the end of the day.
The themes of honor and using our wits are part of the reading program in our Los Angeles Unified School District. Let's meet Greg Lapidus and find out how he continues to integrate student movies with language arts.
Greg, thank you for joining us and congratulations
my
on your
pleasure.
awards. So I want to talk about specifically one of your students, Jackson Kahn. Why did he choose the theme of honor as the basis of his video?
Well, that was the actual challenge given to all of our 5th graders, and it was an open-ended project-based learning again. He chose on his own to go out down to Hollywood and Highland, or I think onto Ventura Boulevard, and just go up to strangers. And this is a boy that is unique and special in many aspects, and I never expected that to come from him. And I think the answers that he was able to get from people really tugged at my heart, and I hope the viewer's heart when they get to see the clip of it on the production. But it was just something never been done before. And I just think it just turned out wonderful.
Another one of your wonderful productions, John Cabot, included a lot of visual effects.
Absolutely.
How do you direct students through composing and green screen, and how much hand-holding do you have to do, or do you find that they just gravitate to this?
You know, I think being at a school that is a high-performing school like Carpenter, and even though these children have never been given the opportunity to do something like this for the teachers, the technology or the technological knowledge is there. We spent very little time with them. This was a 6-week project. We saw samples, and they took it and ran. I want to say their parents helped them a little bit on one aspect, but these kids knew how to do it already. In general, with my class as a whole, with green screen, it probably took them 6 weeks to learn it. And once they started dabbling with their iMovie applications or whatever, their Microsoft Movie Maker, they took it and ran. So it really didn't take much from me to get them started, other than to motivate them to try new technology. And with that particular assignment, it was they found those backdrops on their own. And that's what made it so phenomenal, the beauty and the richness of what they brought in really brought their characters to life for me.
So to anybody that's watching that is even sitting on the fence and thinking about maybe incorporating video production into their classroom, particularly an elementary classroom, what would you say to sell them on the idea?
I think with the current movement and pedagogy of project-based learning, these are the types of things like video production that really allow the kids to move forward and get ready for the real world. I mean, as a matter of fact, one of my former students who won here when he was in 4th grade is at USC Film School. Now, I'm not trying to push kids into the industry necessarily, but the fact that it taps into the creative side of the kids, the outcomes of it are far-reaching, down into their life of adulthood, of learning to manage many aspects of a film will teach them how to be successful in life. And so, you know, that's my goal in my remaining years of teaching, is to continue to profess that video production in and of itself will prepare kids for life.
Well, Greg, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And congratulations to you and
thank
your
you very
students
much.
at Carpenter.
And now to conclude our elementary school awards, we come to the Focus Award, STEAM-Powered Education. The acronym STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. For this category, the judges were looking for examples of how a teacher might integrate these curricular areas into a classroom video. Sunny Bray Elementary is this year's Focus Award winner with their musical, Breaking Ad.
Last week our sales were less. We learned